Before I actually got married, I desired marriage. I thought about it, I prayed for it, I waited for it, and it wasn't until I sat down with myself and really analyzed what was going on, and I was shocked with myself when I was honest with myself. I realized I wasn't even owning my desire. I was too scared. I was downplaying it. I was suppressing it. I was almost treating it like an afterthought, like, oh, eventually, someday, sooner or later, it will happen. And that's exactly why I was stuck. As soon as I realized that, that's when everything changed. So you might be the type of woman who says you want love, you want marriage, you want success. And if you are treating it like exactly how I was treating my desire for marriage, kind of like a side goal, if when God decides to bring it into your life, then Lord, I'll receive it. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep waiting. Then you are not aligned with your desire. And if you are not one with that desire, it cannot come into your life. So women who suppress their desires, their deepest desires for love, for relationships, for intimacy, if you're not expressing it, how is anyone supposed to know? And it's not just about people knowing what you want. Energy travels first. It's all about the spiritual realm. It's all about the supernatural. And so if we're disconnected from our desires, we're suppressed from what we truly, truly long for. If we don't even know, well, that's what we're going to channel out energetically, and that's what's going to be drawn back to us. Nothing, or more waiting, passivity, being stuck, repeating the same thing over and over. Ladies, I wanted to make this video because I am so tired of seeing good women be cheated from the opportunities that I truly believe God wants for them. I have worked with, and I've been that woman who has been the go-getter, high achiever, gets things done, talented, multiplies her talents, just the person that people rely on to get things done. And she does it really well, right? If you are listening to this video, I know that you are a powerful woman. And I look at you women as these Queen of Sheba type of women in the Bible who, when she heard that there's knowledge or wealth of knowledge, she packed her bags and she went and she sought out and she looked for it. Right? And that's the thing. Oftentimes professionally, we have these goals. We have, our vision for this year. What do we want to do in ministry? What about our job? We're successful, right? We bring a lot to the table. And, I just started to take me back to the year 2021 when my life drastically changed. And I got this little journal. Okay. This is my journal that when I started to work with my first coach, this is when everything changed. And, being the professional, thought through girl that I am, right? I'm very intentional. I sat down and I thought, okay, I'm working with this coach to change my life. What are my goals? What do I want to do? And I wrote down goals. Let's skip down to the last goal, number 4. My personal life, marriage. Why was that my 4th goal when I knew that was my first goal? That was what was on my heart. Like when you stand on your tippy toes for something that you desire, that's what marriage was, relationship, love. That's what I wanted. And I couldn't even own it. And so I was so safe. That's how we do things when we're not bold enough to own our desires. I wrote my professional goals, my career goals. I wrote down my church ministries. I mean, everything that looks good on the outside, I wrote it down. But the things that I desired deep inside, I was too afraid to own them. That's why it was goal number 4 when I know that was my first desire. I was scared to own it. It felt kind of selfish, especially when you grow up in a church background. Church, right? Church ministry. What you serve, you help people, you do things, and you don't even realize that you have now become disconnected from your heart. You're afraid to boldly approach the throne like God asks for us to do so. And so I thought I was just going to continue to wait on, whenever God's timing was going to come into my life. So, of course, focusing on professional success, focusing on ministry, responsibilities. I didn't even know that this wasn't even me being humble for writing my personal desires as my last goal. I didn't even realize that I was just that disconnected and that Yeah, I was just that disconnected from truly owning the desires of my heart. And this is exactly how women get stuck in their love life. Professional, successful, high achieving women. They put a lot of, they get stuck in that execution mode, church, ministry, responsibilities, but then they disconnect from their personal desires, their heart, their feminine heart. And usually these are women who desire masculine men, and masculine men desire to feel, to experience the heart of a woman, the essence of a woman, not just her doingness and everything that she could do. I mean, that's amazing, ladies, that you can do so much. But if you want love, I can guarantee you there's a man who actually wants to experience you and love you. Love you not just for your achievements or the things that you do, but your heart, your beingness. And so many women treat love like an afterthought while prioritizing everything else but themselves, but their desires. They're scared that it's selfish. It's too much attention onto them. That inward, right? And the feminine is all about being receptive, being open. And that's just one of the bajillion ways it shows up when we can't even focus on ourselves. It's too much attention, right? What we want. And so then they wonder why nothing's happening to their love life. And it makes me so sad that these are the same women that are thinking they're waiting on God. Okay, another opportunity. Okay, next year. Okay, maybe another time. Okay, and we keep off putting what God wants for us because we just can't just have a nervous system that's calibrated to actually own what we want and boldly say it with our words and with our actions. And that's the problem. The suppression of desire is the suppression of receptivity. Okay, that's that feminine openness. And God wants to partner with your desires. I really do believe God put so many of these beautiful desires into our heart, and He wants to co-create and create them with us, except for we keep resisting, unfortunately. Ladies, I want to tell you, the inner work that I had to do to open up and unblock my heart and experience my heart's desires come into fruition, into life, literally, was not by accident. And if you are interested to finally unblock and have a clear road path for your heart and everything else that you desire, check out my free training, Activate Your Feminine Charm, and I will guide you how to become that woman that is magnetic, who is open, who can align with the desires that God has for you, because I want you to start preparing actively for your love story. This isn't something you have to keep waiting for. This is something you can actively start preparing now. So check out that link. So now I want to talk about some of the signs that you are probably keeping yourself and your desires suppressed, and therefore you are probably stuck. I see it with women all the time, and maybe you see this too. So let's say you desire love, but you feel very hesitant to even express your desires out loud. You on a vocal level, like you can't even speak it. Like for me, it was goal number 4, and I totally downplayed it. And, I want you to just feel into your body. How does it feel? Can you actually own it? Can you say it loud? I desire to be married. I want to be married by next year. I want to have a masculine man who adores me, who is so in deep devotion, that is excited to see me, where I get to radiate. Like, can you even talk like that? Or is that too much? Because I can guarantee you that the women who can already talk like that, who can embody that, are the ones that are going to be attracting, if not already attracting, that masculine man who gets excited to be with this type of woman. This another way that comes up is we make these very vague, aka we think it's humble, but we're just these vague statements of, oh, I just desire to be in a good relationship, I just want a good man, whatever God has for me. That is not you boldly owning your desires. I love teaching the polarity, these polarity principles of the feminine and masculine. And the masculine wants to give to the feminine, but he wants to know, what does she want? What is she desiring, so he can give that to her? I mean, think about it. Like, let's just break it down. Let's take romantic examples out of the picture and just use a little girl and her dad. Like, think about this, the masculine, right? This man's heart for this little girl. And he says, like, hey, like, your birthday's coming up. What do you want for your birthday? If she says, I don't know, Dad, it's okay. You don't have to worry about me. No, Like, that is so sad. And especially if this masculine, healthy man, dad, is a giver, is a generous giver, wants to fulfill her desires, wants to see her, the excitement radiate from her face, smiling, joyful, giggling, laughing. Like, that's what the masculine wants. Like, these feminine masculine principles, it's not just like love, it's all of life, it's God, it's men, it's all of life, right? And think about it, like, as women, when we do the same thing, like, oh, I just want love, like, what can God even give you? The masculine. Or what kind of man is even going to come into your life? Are you going to even be able to identify him? And so you have to get specific. What do you want? When I started to embody exactly what I want, and I got, in a good way, if I could say selfish, in a good way, right? Like, what do I desire? How do I want to feel? I remember one of the things I wrote down is like, I want, like, there's something about how he looks at me. And at the time I saw a couple episodes of The Outlander, and the way Jamie would look at Claire, like this, just like he'd just get lost in her. She's just doing her thing, being, occupying her space, and he'd look at her. He's always protective of her, but in awe. There was definitely passion. He was interested. He was like in awe with her. And I remember watching that show and being like, oh my gosh, like even the way he looks at her. And I started to own these desires. Like, I want to experience this. I want to have a man who's fascinated with me, instead of, again, being like, oh, I want a husband, whatever, good relationship. No, I want a masculine man. I want to be with a man who is clearly interested, who makes it known, who, sets up dates, who wants to call me, who can't even imagine his life without me, who's going to make it very clear that he wants to have a family with me. The way he looks at me, I got so crystal clear about it, and I didn't shrink back. And out of the many things, the many inner work things that I'd done with it in me, having that, not feeling like I'm too much for wanting these things, it was a game changer. And it adds to the testimony of how God is when we co-create, because how else do we know when things happen, when we're literally co-creating our realities with God on earth, until we start to get specific about what we want. So, for instance, I remember specifically, especially we were dating in the beginning, man, the way that, this man, now my husband, would look at me, I was like, whoa, I desired this specific thing. And that's why it would enhance my excitement in this entire journey. Like, when I experienced what I desired and I experienced it, it was so exciting. It was like intoxicating. It was amazing. Like, I even remember till this day, we were at Applebee's. After one of our dates, we stopped by to get a bite to eat, and I just remember I was telling him something, talking about my life, da 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 da, and I looked up from my plate and I looked at him, and ladies, the way this man was looking at me, I was like, whoa, I desired this. And I know I keep saying the word desire. I love that word, but gosh, the way he looked at me, I knew it. I knew that the things that I was hoping for, they're just like, they're happening. But I have to embody, I have to come alive in my heart, and I can't shrink back, right? For instance, like, if you want a man to look at you, like, what do you do when he does look at you? Look away, shy away, that's another topic. Can you even handle what you desire? That's another topic. But ladies, let me go through a couple more signs you're probably suppressing yourself. You have a deep fear of being too much if you express what you really desire. This comes up all the time because, again, when you're used to downplaying and suppressing yourself, to speak up, to express, it's going to be like, okay, too much, you're too much. And those are just those internal things that we are blocking ourselves, when in reality, again, masculine man, they want to give to you. They want you to be able to boldly own up some space, right? And then another thing is, you worry that if you get your hopes up, you will be disappointed. So you shy away, you shrink, and you don't claim it. Do you ladies see how we can perpetuate this cycle of being stuck? So when I finally got serious about what I wanted, and it was to be married, okay? And it wasn't to justify, it was not to over-explain it. I said, I want to be married. I want to meet a man who adores me, who loves me, who cherishes me, not just because I have all these professional things to bring to the table, but because he loves me, he sees me. That's when my inner work journey started, and that's when my love life started to completely transform radically fast. And it wasn't because I forced something, it's because I owned it and I surrendered. And so here are just a couple. I love sharing examples because they're just testimonies, a testament of God and how he really does co-create. And the more I can build up, ladies, your faith, the more you can start to get into the co-creational power with God and create the love that you desire with God. Our planet needs these kingdom marriages, and the world needs to see how real our God is. And faith without works is dead. And so when you truly believe that God has put these desires and he wants to create them with you, then you are gonna start actively working and engaging in your part of the co-creation, right? And so for me, I did the work. Whatever my coach told me to do, however she challenged me, I went for it. Okay. There was no room for embarrassment. There's no room for fear. Okay. Those are those blocks. Those are those resistance pieces that come up when we are trying to finally step into what we want. Okay, all those subconscious blocks, all those limitations, all of those okay, well, the last time it didn't work. Like the devil is going to just unleash his storm against you to remind you of why, oh, this never happens for you. But good thing God's principles are true yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And when you come into alignment with what you want and you become one with God, what can not happen? I mean, that's when mountains are moved, right? And so I've shared this story a few times in my other videos, but I love to say this. Right before I met my husband, I even had this thought, wouldn't it be amazing if by or on my 30th birthday, I would finally step into my first relationship ever with an amazing guy? And I'll be honest, it just seemed like a far-fetched dream, but I got specific, my birthday. And guess what happened? On my 30th birthday, this guy that I had been talking to and going on dates and starting to get excited about and started to let myself feel the safety to get closer and closer and open up to him, something I could have never done before my inner work journey. He gave me a beautiful necklace, the specific type of necklace that I actually wanted, and he wrote a little note. It was so romantic, actually. And it said, date me. And he burnt the edges around of the piece of paper because we had been doing a lot of different bonfire dates. We loved the bonfire fireplace. And to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I desired this. He had no idea. I never told him. I never gave him a deadline. I didn't say, a 30th birthday coming up. You better be official with me no. Like I said, this is what I desire, God. This is what it feels like. Wouldn't it be amazing? And I keep getting surprised by God. I am connected to him in the spirit because I see it manifest in the physical. And my husband, my boyfriend at the time, he didn't know that. But to me, I'm like, whoa, God, wow, you're real. And this guy is moving aligned with you. And about a year after that, around my birthday weekend the next year, I was desiring to be engaged because I didn't want to be girlfriend forever. That's not my goal. And in a feminine communication way, I had been able to express to my man at the time, these are some of my goals, but I didn't tell him, by this specific date, you better be engaged with me. I better have a ring. It was none of that. There was this deep surrender. I know what I desired. And I never even told him around my birthday again, make sure to propose. I didn't do that. And yet, guess what happened? The same birthday weekend, we got engaged. Actually by a fireplace, no surprise of all places, because that was something that was so meaningful and special for us. Ladies, my stories continue. I can write a book of the things that I am able to co-create with God. I'm not demanding God to make anything happen, but I'm able to embody these desires, and when they do come my way, not to shrink back. But the point is, when you align yourself with the desires, the beautiful, beautiful, deep desires of your heart, when you no longer let, embarrassment or shame or anything like that hold you back or fear. You remove all of the internal resistance, all of the blocks within, and you actually start to move fast. And you usually don't have to wait anymore until the next year and next year, because passively waiting will get you to the next year and next year and next year. And I'm here to teach, and I'm here to proclaim and to guide. You can have the desires of your heart. You can start now, but you have to put in the work. Ladies, you can't receive what you're still hesitant about. So get crystal clear. What do you want? And own it. And faith plus works means do something about it, right? The next point is the clear and more specific you get, the faster things shift. Seriously, I have been thinking about in my life, in the last 3.5 years, so many things have happened. I had been waiting for like a decade and a half, and nothing was happening other than my professional life developing. But when I came into alignment with this work, I started to shift all the inner stuff. I cannot believe it's like quantum leaping. I mean, you literally start to collapse time, like, because with God, time doesn't even exist. Like, we're in these ramifications of time. And these last 3.5 years, and the more I continue to do this type of work, the higher I go. I met my man, I got engaged, I got married, we got a house, we remodeled this amazing house. I have a baby, my business is thriving. I mean, the list continues to compound in the best way. And so where are you shrinking back? Where are you holding yourself back? Where are you still hoping and waiting? And if we're just being honest, being passive about something. Or are you actually positioning yourself to receive because you are doing the inner work? So check out my free training, Activate Your Feminine Charm. And I'm going to take you through the shifts that you need to do to become magnetic, that open pathway to receive what you desire, the type of love that you are praying for. So stop waiting, start aligning. Drop in the comments, ladies, what resonated with you? What are you excited for? I'd love to see your girls' engagement. And I want to say, now is your time. There is no such thing as accidents. There is such thing as you coming into bold alignment. Real love does exist, and it is waiting for you. Make sure to check out my next video, and I will see you later.